welcome! This is our class number 5, okay? Today we are going to study a very important structure in English, which is used to, okay? Let's begin. So today we begin with a conversation, okay? So come with me, please. So, Grandma, what did you used to do on Christmas Eve? Grandma, what did you used to do on Christmas Eve? I used to spend the whole night waiting for Santa. I used to spend the whole night waiting for Santa. But now I cook delicious dishes for my grandchildren. Okay? So, let's see here if we have any problems with the vocabulary here. Okay? So, Grandma, what did you used to do on Christmas Eve? So, Eve is the day before, right? So, Christmas Eve is on the 24th of December, right? December 24th. That's Christmas Eve, the day before Christmas, okay? Always Eve, always one day before, okay? So I used to spend the entire night waiting for Santa. Santa is what they call Santa Claus, okay? On Christmas, Santa Claus is that character that delivers gifts and presents to people, right? Now, and she says, but now I cook delicious dishes for my grandchildren. So when we use grandchildren, we do not want to specify if they are girls or boys, right? So I say grandchildren. If I wanted to say only that she has only female grandchildren, we could use granddaughter. If they were males, right? If they were male, we would use grandson. Okay, so grandchildren is the same as granddaughter and grandson. Okay? Now, what we are going to see today is the structure used to. Okay, now, used to talk about something you often did in the past, but don't do anymore. So this part is very important, okay? Okay, something you did regularly in the past, but that you do not do anymore, okay? It is very important to understand this. Every time we say, I used to, it is something that I do not do anymore, okay? I stopped doing this. Now, okay, let us see here some examples. Do you remember a song from Guns N' Roses? I don't know, maybe I think many or most of you are too young, but it was a fairly famous song. So the name was exactly this. I used to love her, but I had to kill her. Okay, I used to love her. So this is in the past. I used to love her, but now I had to kill her. Okay, so this is of course very strong language. Okay, but doesn't matter. Just for us, it is important to bring here and understand this. Okay, so does he still love her? No, he doesn't love her anymore. He used to love her. Okay, he used to love her. Okay, another example. My parents didn't used to take showers every day when they were young. So, when my parents were young, they didn't use to take showers every day. Okay, they didn't use to take showers every day. So remember, the expression used to is an expression in the simple past. But it is a little different than the simple past. Why? Every time I say something I did in the past, we could represent that on a timeline. Okay, at a timeline, we could represent that as a dot. Okay, as a dot. For example, yesterday I went to the mall. So it is something that we can point when this action happened. But when I say used to, then we are talking actually about a period of time, a long period of time in the past, not only a point. So for example, I used to go to the mall every Sunday. So for a period, maybe for 2 years, 3 years, Every Sunday I went to the mall. So I used to go to the mall every Sunday. Okay? So when we use only the simple past, usually we want to point a time in the past. And when we use this expression, used to, we are actually talking about a longer period, okay, of time in the past. Now, the pronunciation, it is important to understand the pronunciation because it is the same as in the simple present. Look here. So, used to, the pronunciation is exactly the same as used to. Because when we talk, we say these words very fast and we put them together. So we do not say the final ed. So we say used to. I used to love her. I used to love her. This is in the past. It is the same as in the present, okay? Used to. Only the pronunciation. The meaning is completely different, okay? So every time we are going to say used to, we have to know the context is going to show us if this expression is in the simple present or the simple past. But usually it is in the simple past, because this is a structure we use to talk about the past, okay? So I used to do something always in the past, okay? Now this is only the pronunciation which is the same. Now, okay, examples here. She used to be very pretty. She used to be very pretty, okay? Now, pay attention that I'm going now to form the negative, a negative sentence. And now, because I use did, I cannot put ed in the end anymore. Remember that? Normal, simple past rule, okay? So, he didn't use to exercise. Did you see the pronunciation? It is exactly the same. Look here. She used to be. She used to be. He didn't use to exercise. He didn't use to exercise. So the pronunciation of used to in the past and used to, which is also in the past because of did, right? But without ed here. So the pronunciation is the same, okay? That's what I wanted to show you. I used to do something. Did you use to do something? The same pronunciation, but when we write, they are different, okay? Now, let us practice a bit. What did Deb's room used to look like in 2006? Look at the picture here. This is Deb's room in 2006. What did Deb's room used to look like in 2006? It used to be very messy. Do you guys know what a mess is? A mess is when everything is out of place, right? When you don't organize things, you make a mess, okay? A mess. So, it used to be a messy room, okay? A messy room. Now, look here. This is Deb's room in 2016, right? In the present. Now, is her room still messy in 2016? Look here. No, it's not messy anymore. It's neat. Neat is the opposite of messy, okay? It's messy, and the opposite, it's neat. It's clean, it's organized, okay? Now, why did I bring this exercise here? Because I want to stress I want you to make very clear that every time we say I used to or something used to be in a certain manner, means that in the present it has changed. It is not the same anymore. Okay? Look again. So Deb's room used to be messy. So now you can be sure that her room is not messy anymore. Okay? It used to be, it's not anymore. Why is this so important? Because sometimes when we are taking tests, they ask exactly this. Okay? We are going to see a little bit later now in this class a question that tried to see if you guys can or not understand the expression used to. Okay? So it is not messy anymore, right? One more. What sport did Patricia used to play? What sport did Patricia used to play? Look here. A few years ago. Patricia, a few years ago. What sport did she used to play? She used to play tennis. She used to play tennis. Now I ask you, does she still play tennis? We can be sure that she doesn't play anymore, okay? We can be sure because she said here, we are saying she used to play. So we never use this expression. If she still played tennis now, we could not use this expression, okay? So if I say she used to play tennis, means she doesn't play anymore, all right? Now, does Patricia still play tennis? Look at the picture here. Patricia, a few days ago, right? That was a few years ago, and now this is a few days ago. So no, she doesn't. She works out nowadays. Okay? Nowadays is the same as at present, currently. Okay? Now, so does she still play tennis? No, she doesn't. She works out nowadays. Okay? Now, let's see here a question that was proposed in Enem in 2010. Okay? So first they have here a song from Coldplay. A song from Coldplay, yes. Let's read together. Okay, so Viva La Vida. I used to rule the world. Seas would rise when I gave the word. Now, in the morning, and I sleep alone. Sweep the streets I used to own. I used to roll the dice. Feel the fear in my enemy's eyes. Listen as the crowd would sing. Now the old king is dead, long live the king. 1 minute I held the key. Next, the walls were closed on me. And I discovered that my castles stand upon pillars of salt and pillars of sand. Okay? Let's see here if we have any vocabulary problems. First we have here, right, Martin C. is the author. Viva La Vida, it's a Coldplay song, right? So, I used to rule the world. Now I think there are no problems here, right? Seas would rise. Seas, okay? To rise is an upward movement. To rise, okay? So seas would rise when I gave the word. Okay, so every time he gave an order, everybody would obey, even the seas. Okay, that's the idea he's trying to pass. Now, in the morning, and I sleep alone. Okay, so see, he used to rule the world. This is the past. So does he still rule the world? No. Now he sleeps alone. Okay, now he doesn't have the same power as he used to have. Now, sweep the streets I used to own. Sorry. So sweep, remember the verb to sweep? As with a broom, and you sweep. Okay, like a housemaid or a cleaner. Sweep the streets I used to own. So to own means the streets belonged to him. He was the master. He was the owner of the streets. So is he still the owner of the streets? Does he still own the streets? No, he doesn't. He used to own. Okay? Now, I used to roll the dice. Okay, to roll the dice. Dice is that cube with 6 faces, that we use to play games, right? So that's a dice, to roll the dice, okay? So he used to roll the dice. That probably means he used to take risks, okay? He used to take risks. Feel the fear. Feel, to feel, as in feeling, right? To feel the fear. Fear is the sentiment, is the feeling of who is afraid, okay? To be afraid is the same as to fear something. In my enemy's eyes. So to feel the fear in my enemy's eyes. Listen as the crowd would sing. Crowd is a lot of people together, okay? For example, if you go to a stadium to watch a ball game, for example, a soccer match, there you are going to meet a crowd, many people together. That's a crowd, okay? So he says here, listen as the crowd would sing. Now the old king is dead, long live the king. Okay, long live the king. 1 minute, I held the key. Okay, held is the past of the verb to hold. To hold, okay? So when you have something in your hands, you are holding, okay? Like, for example, a boyfriend and a girlfriend, when they walk together, they usually hold hands, okay? Hold hands. So 1 minute, I held the key. In the past, I held the key. So means he could open every doors, right? Next, the walls were closed on me. The walls, right, as in a room, the walls were closing on him. So he became trapped, enclosured, okay? And I discovered that my castles stand upon pillars of salt and pillars of sand, okay? So now he knows, right? He discovered that his castles, right? So all the power he used to have was built upon pillars of salt, okay? So the pillars, right? Pillars, it's like the structure, right? So the pillars, they were made of salt and sand, or they were very fragile or brittle, okay? Brittle and fragile are synonyms, okay? So his castles, his power was built upon a very weak, very brittle structure. Okay, so this is the meaning of this song. Okay, let's see now. I have adapted the question. The question that was proposed in Enem, it was in Portuguese, and so as I'm trying to avoid Portuguese here in classes. Okay, so I adapted and I asked the question in English. Okay, so it's similar, but it's not the same question that you can find in Enem 2010. Okay, now according to the text, the author still rules the world. Can we say that he currently, nowadays, he still rules the world? No, because look what he says here. I used to rule the world. I used to rule the world. So we can be sure he doesn't rule the world anymore. Okay? Now, letter B. The author lost the power he used to have. Okay, very good. Exactly this, right? He used to rule the world. He used to hold the key. Okay, so he used to own the streets. Okay, but now he doesn't anymore. Now he sleeps alone. The walls are closing on him, and he discovered his power, his castle was built upon pillars of salt and pillars of sand. Okay, so letter B is the correct one, right? Letter B is the correct one. Let us see the other two here. The author was a king, but lost his throne? No, this is a figurative speaking, right? So he was not an actual king. We can say he had a lot of power, but not that he really was a king, okay? So he mentions a king, right, in the text here. He mentions here, I listened, the crowd would sing. Now the old king is dead. Long live the king, okay? But this is a figurative speaking, right? He doesn't mean he really was a king. No, he doesn't say that in the text. Okay, and letter D, the author became very powerful. No, the opposite, right? He was very powerful. Okay, to become is something that is you achieve now. Okay, that was not in the past and now it is. For example, in the past, I was not powerful, but now I am, so I became powerful. And the text says exactly the opposite. In the past, he was powerful, he used to be powerful, but now he's not anymore. So we can never say the author became very powerful. Okay, he was powerful in the past. Okay, but started out sweeping the streets. Again, they are trying to confuse you with figurative speaking, right? Look here. Started out. To start out is, for example, when you see, I would say, today I'm the manager of a big company, but I started out as an office boy, for example. Okay, so start out is that what we did in the beginning, right? To start. So I started out as an office boy, for example, and then I became the manager. Okay, so no, the text doesn't say he really sweeps the streets, right? So here in the fourth line he says, sweep the streets I used to own. Okay, so again, this is a figurative speaking, right? He says that right now he sweeps the streets that in the past were his, right? That he used to own the streets and now he has to clean, probably for someone else. Okay, so no, the author became very powerful, no, okay, but started out sweeping the streets. No, this was a figurative speaking. The text doesn't really say that he actually swept the streets, okay? It's not correct, so it's actually letter B. Okay, folks, that was it. Thank you very much. Okay, next class, we are going to talk about adverbs of quantity. It's very important because we are going to see the difference between adverbs we use with count or countable nouns and the adverbs we use with non-count or non-countable nouns, okay? So it's a very important class. I hope to meet you all very soon, okay? Thanks for watching, thanks for the emails and all the messages you've been sending me. I'm very glad. Thank you very much. See you next class.